My name's Terry Mushrush, and I wanted to take a minute and introduce myself. This is my video resume where I explain in my own words my diverse background. As you're going to see, I'm a graduate of the General Electric Machinist Apprenticeship. I have a bachelor's degree in production development from the University of Evansville, and I'm a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt from Villanova University. I wanted you to get the sense of my skill set in a way that you just don't get when you read single-spaced bullets on a resume. So thanks in advance for watching this, and I hope that you'll see that I'm the person that you need on your team. I began my career in a 4-year machinist apprenticeship with the General Electric Corporation in Erie, Pennsylvania. At the time, this facility employed over 13,000 people making locomotives. During my apprenticeship, I learned how to run dozens of machine tools. This hands-on experience stuck with me for the rest of my life. My assignments included parts manufacturing, die repair, welding, production control, numerical controlled machine programming, plant layout, and classical time study techniques. When I completed my apprenticeship, I took a job as a time standards analyst in the sheet metal shop. During the early 80s, I took a position as an industrial engineer with the Bucyrus-Erie Company in Evansville, Indiana. Bucyrus-Erie, like General Electric, was a heavy manufacturing company which manufactured drag lines, cranes, and shovels. I was a classical industrial engineer in the machine shop responsible for setting piecework standards in a union shop. I was the time study guy. At Bucyrus-Erie, a decision was made to design a spare parts warehouse. Since I had layout experience with GE, I was given the task to drive a warehousing project to support the spare parts business. In support of the project, we brought in Lockwood Green engineers, and we completed the design of the parts warehousing facility. There was an economic slowdown in the early 80s, and the Evansville facility was closed before the warehouse could be built. But the relationship that I developed with the Lockwood Green people turned out to be more important than I would have guessed at the time. Because Lockwood Green offered me a position as an industrial planning consultant in their Spartanburg office, I ended up working for Lockwood Green engineers for 11 years. My projects would vary depending upon the needs of the client. I helped Alcoa with a strategic planning project that defined a totally automated aluminum smelter. I helped move all the equipment from the Siemens Alice facility in Wisconsin to a factory that we built for them in Florida. I solved warehousing issues in several Pepsi plants. I implemented fairly complex material handling and tracking systems in Duracell. And automated material handling systems became my personal area of expertise. I was responsible for or assisted in the design, procurement, installation, and commissioning of automated systems in Bridgestone, Glidden, American Airlines, General Motors, United Airlines, and Intel Corporation. As my career at Lockwood Green grew, so did my responsibilities. I went from an individual contributor to a manager of an industrial planning group in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, overseeing 10 consultants. I eventually became a manager of a program office in Albuquerque, New Mexico, overseeing a staff of people with $1 million annual budget. In New Mexico, we did 6 consecutive AMHS installations. All of these installations were successful, on time, and under budget. I integrated into the Intel team, working with the equipment engineers for both Intel and the suppliers to help drive state-of-the-art designs in the clean room AMHS equipment. When we were through with the Fab 11 AMHS installation, it was the largest system of its kind in the world. At the completion of the project, Intel offered me a position on their staff, and I accepted it. I was an Intel employee for almost 10 years. During that time, I held several management positions in some very challenging areas. I began my Intel career as an automation engineer. The picture above shows an intra-based system that I was responsible for installing. This system delivered 25 wafer lots to diffusion furnaces without human intervention. Shortly after joining Intel, I was asked to manage the automation help desk at Fab 11. This help desk was a 7x24 operation with over 35 direct reports. In this role, I was responsible for ensuring the automation system that controlled the entire fab production was functioning at close to perfect uptime. Fab 11 was the first Intel megafab, and as such, the automation systems had significant issues. As manager of the help desk, I helped to drive a copy-exactly help desk philosophy across all of Intel's sites, eventually leading to the consolidation of help desk functions. I held this position for 3 years. I moved to Fort Worth, Texas to be the Fab 16 automation manager. However, the construction of that fab was stopped, and Intel opted instead to buy an existing digital factory in Hudson, Massachusetts. I stayed in Texas for 2 years, but my role was to help bring the Hudson facility into the Intel virtual factory from an automation perspective. As the Hudson role completed, I took on the role of TME e-business manager. In this role, I managed a group of individuals that developed and maintained the Intel supplier website, supplier.intel.com. This group was responsible for tracking all of Intel capital equipment in all of their factories. This is about $6 billion worth of equipment. We saved millions of dollars by allowing factories to have visibility to reused equipment in other Intel factories. We eventually transitioned this capability into an ERP system, and the group was disbanded. After I left Intel, I had the opportunity to try something a little different. I wanted to start a business of my own, and I did so by creating Arizona Custom Rifles. Arizona Custom Rifles was a custom rifle shop that built high-end custom rifles from scratch. I employed 4 rifle builders, and we had a successful 3 years, but the current economic downturn killed this venture. One key learning that I brought away from this business was the power of Lean Six Sigma and its ability to impact the bottom line. Arizona Custom Rifles was not the only company impacted by this economic downturn. Lockwood Green Engineers also suffered from a lack of work. Several of the consultants that I used to work with started a consulting firm called Criterion, and I was asked to join their ranks on an as-needed basis. However, things are slow on that front as well. My wife and I moved to Greenville, South Carolina, and while we were waiting for some work to come in, we took advantage of that open time to get our certifications as Lean Six Sigma Black Belts from Villanova University. So, here we are. You need a highly skilled, fungible individual who has a proven track record. My management skills are tested and proven, and I have over 30 years of measurable success to my credit. I work well in all levels of an organization, and I'm particularly effective in a team environment. I'm passionate about success, and I've proven that I can tackle difficult situations and bring them to successful conclusions. So thanks again for spending the time with me, and I look forward to talking with you shortly.